Hello friends, in this video we understand the one statement, that is the magnitude of displacement may or may not be equal to the path length travels by an object. This statement we try to understand by taking one examples. So in previous video we discussed about what is the path length and what is the displacement. So we revise that. What is the path length? So path length is defined as the distance covered by the object, the total distance covered by the object during their motion, that is known as path length. And what is the displacement? So displacement is defined as the change in positions of the object in the particular intervals of the times. Okay, the path length, that is total distance covered by the object, and displacement, that is change in positions of the object in particular interval of the times. And also displacement is given by the final position minus initial position. So in short, displacement gives the distance of the final position with respect to initial positions. Now today in this video we try to understand this statement, the magnitude of displacement may or may not be equal to the path length. Okay, it is not necessary that always the displacement value is equal to the path length value of the object. It may be equal or not be equal. So for that we consider one example. You can see here we consider an example in which our object is travel on x-axis. We know that whenever we consider the motion of object in one direction or on the straight lines, at that times we consider the frame of reference which consists only one axis. So here we consider our frame of reference whose have only one axis, that is x-axis, and in this axis we take this O is reference point and the position coordinate for O, that is 0, and all distance or all value in RHS, that is positive, all value in LHS, that is negatives. Also here P, Q and R gives the different positions of the object in the different time of the in different intervals of the times. So now we consider one examples in which we consider one case in which our path length value and displacement value are equals. So for that we consider our object start their motion from point O, and reach at point P. So in this case the distance covered by the object, that is OP, the total distance covered by the object, that is OP. So path length is given by OP. Now what is the distance OP? That is P has position coordinate, that is 360, that means 316 meters. So this is our path length value. Now what is the displacement? So displacement is given by the final position minus initial position. So in this case when our object is start their motion from point O and reach at point P, so our final position, that is P, and initial position, that is O. Now what is the position coordinate for P? That is plus 316 meters, and position coordinate for O, that is 0 meters. So we get plus 316 meters. So in this case we have the path length, that is 316 meter, and the displacement, that is also 316 meter. So here we consider the case in which our path length and displacement value are equal. Now we consider another case in which our path length and displacement value are not equal to each other. So suppose our object is start their motion from point O, from point O, and reach at point P and turn back, and then finally the object is reach at point Q. That means our object is start their motion from point O, they reach at point P and then take turn back on same path and reach at point Q. So during this motion the object can cover the total distance, that is our path length, that is OP, when object is start their motion from O and reach at point P and then from P to Q. So in this case our path length, that is OP, that is 316 meter, and this is plus, and PQ, that is 120 meters. So total, that is plus 418 meters. This is our path length. Now what is the displacement for this case? So you can see here our object is start their motion from point O. So this is your initial position of the object. And then object reach at point P and then take back turns and reach at point Q. So this is the final position. Okay, and this is initial position. Now displacement is final position minus initial position. So displacement is given by the final position minus initial position. So final position, that is Q, and initial position, that is O. What is the position coordinate for Q? That is plus 214 meters, and position coordinate for O, that is 0 meters. So you get 214 meters. So in second case, we have the path length, that is plus 418 meters, and the displacement, that is 214 meters. That means our path length and displacement not equal to each other. Okay, so here we consider two cases. In first case, our path length and displacement both are equal to each other, and in second case, the path length and displacement are not equal to each other. So from this example, we conclude that the magnitude of the displacement may or may not be equal to the path length travels by an object. Okay, now next question, that is explain with an example that the magnitude of displacement may be 0 but the corresponding path length is not 0. Okay, now we consider one examples in which we try to understand our path length never be equal to 0 but displacement may be equal to 0. So for that we consider only one examples. Here we consider same motion of the object. In previous theory we discuss our object is standing at point O and start their motion and reach at point P and take back turns and reach at the same point. Okay, what our object start their motion from point O and they traveling in this direction, reach at point P and then take the back turns on same path and travel in this direction and reach at point O. Okay, that means our object can cover the total distance, that is our path length. So O to P and then P to O. So what is the OP? That is plus 316 meters, and P to O, that is also 316 meters. That means total 720 meters. This is our path length. Okay, here you can see that our initial point, that is O. Our object is start their motion and reach at point P, then take back turns on same path and reach at point O. That means initial position and final position both are coincide to each other. Okay, now displacement, we know that displacement is given by final position minus initial position. So in this case the final position, that is O, and the initial position, that is also, what is the position coordinate for O? That is 0 meter minus 0 meters, so you get 0 meters. So from this example we conclude that the magnitude of the displacement may be 0 but the path length is not 0. Okay, so when our object initial position and final positions are coincide with each other, at that times a displacement of the object is equal to 0 but path length will be never equal to 0. Okay, so from this example we conclude that path length is not equal to 0 in any situation. When our object is in motion, that path length is never be equal to 0. Now next question, the difference between path length and displacement. So what is the path length? First of all, you write down the definition for path length and displacement. Path length, that is total distance covered by the moving object, is called the path length. What is the path length? The total distance covered by the moving object. And what is the displacement? The displacement is defined as the shortest distance between final position and initial position. Okay, this is the total distance. Path length, that is total distance that object covered during their motion, but displacement that gives the shortest distance between final position with respect to initial position. Okay, then path length is always positive, because if the motion direction can be changed, you cannot take the negative signs with magnitudes. Okay, because of that path length is always positive, but the displacement may be positive, negative or zero. Suppose we know that the displacement is given by delta x is equal to x2 minus x1, where x2 that is final position and x1 that is initial position. So in which case our displacement is positive. So when your final position's value that is greater than to initial position value, at that times your displacement may be positive. But when your final position value that is less than initial position value, at that time your displacement value that is negative. And when your initial position and final positions are coincide to each other, that means x2 is equal to x1, at that time your displacement is equal to 0. Okay, so in short, the path length will be always positive, or displacement may be positive, negative or 0. Also the path length is scalar quantity. Why? Because the path length can be defined only by magnitudes, not need to specify the direction. Okay, but the displacement, for defining the displacement we need the magnitude and the direction both. Because of that displacement is vector quantity. So it can be never be 0 for any moving object. If your object is in motion, so for that the path length never be equal to 0, but the displacement it may be 0, that we discussed in previous theory. Okay, when initial and final position will be coincide to each other, at that times your displacement is equal to 0 even though your object is in motion. Fifth point, that is, if motion is not linear, that path length is greater than to displacement. If your motion is not linear, that means first your object is moving in this direction and then back from here. So in this case your path length value will be always greater than to the displacement, because the displacement gives the shortest distance between initial position and final position, but the path length that is the total distance covered by the object during their motion. Okay, so remember this point, your path length is greater than to displacement when your motion of the object is not linear. Similarly, displacement less than to path length. Also the final positions you cannot be determined from path length, but the final positions of the object during their motion can be determined by the displacement. Okay, so this is the difference between path length and displacement. Now our next question, that is, we draw the positions versus time graph for the different cases. So first of all, what is the x versus t graph? So here this is x versus t graph, that means positions versus time graphs. Okay, so we draw this graph for different situations. In first one, when our object is rest. So how we can conclude that our object is rest? If the positions of the object is not changed with respect to time, then we can say that our object is in rest. Now in second case, that is when it is moving with constant velocity in positive direction. Now this is important things. What is the meaning of constant velocity? If the motions of the objects that is uniform, then we can say that that object is in uniform motion or constant velocity. Okay, we take one examples. Suppose this x, suppose this is our x distance covered by the object, and this is time that is given by in second. Now first 0 second our object at 0 meter, but after the 5 second our object cover 5 meters, then 10 second this cover 10 meters. So you can see that in the intervals of the 5 seconds our object cover the 5 meter distance. Okay, so after these 5 seconds, in between 5 to 10 seconds Our object cover 5 to 10 meters, that means 5 meters. So this is the uniform motion. We take one more example. This is distance covered by the object, time that is taken by the object. Suppose an initial time that is 0 second, at that time our object at 0 meters. But after the suppose 10 minutes, our object cover the 20 meters distance. After the 20 minutes, our this object cover the 14 meter distance. So you can say that this is the time interval, that is 10 meters in successive positions of the object. So the distance covered by the object that is 20 meters. You take any difference between successive positions of the different instant of the times, you get the same values. That means our object cover the same distance in equal intervals of the times. So we can say that our object is in uniform motion, or the object have constant velocity. Constant velocity. Okay. So this is our second case. This one, constant velocity. Also positive direction. That means when time will be passed, our object velocity will be increasing. Then we can say that our object is traveling positive direction. Now exact opposite case, when it is moving with constant velocity in negative direction. That means now your velocity will be constant. That means distance covered by the object in equal intervals of the times, that is same. But now your negative direction. That means the velocity of the object is decreased with the times, that is in negative direction of the negative direction motion of the object. And fourth one, that is when it perform non-uniform motion. And what is the non-uniform motion? If your object cover the different distance in equal intervals of the times, then we can say that that object is in non-uniform motion. We take examples. Suppose the distance covered by the object that is denoted by x, and time taken by the object that is denoted by t. In initial time, that is 0 second, our object at point 0. Now after the 5 minutes, our object cover the suppose 3 meters, and then 10 minutes, our object cover the distance that is 7. Then our object after the 15 minutes cover the distance that is 15. You can see that in first 5 minutes object cover 3 meter distance, and second 5 minutes object cover 3 to 7, that means 4 meters. So in first case 3 meters and then 4 meters, then you can see that this is 8 meters. So in equal intervals of the times, our object cover the different distance. That means this object is said to be in uniform motion, non-uniform motion. Okay, the distance covered by the object is different in equal intervals of the times, that is, then we can say that that object is in non-uniform motion. Okay, now we draw the positions versus time graph for these situations. So in first case, when it is rest, so for that this is our x-axis, this is y-axis. We take the position of object on y-axis and time taken by the object on x-axis. Now we take some scale, that is 20, 14, and in this case we take 10, 20, 13 and so on. Now at initial time, that is 0 second, our object suppose standing at point this one, that is 14 meters. Now when time will be passed, our object suppose after the 10 minutes will be standing at same point, that is 14 meters. You can see this time will be passed, but our object is standing at 14. So after the 20 minutes, our object still there 14 meters. Then after 30 minutes, so you can see our times will be passed, but the object will be standing at the 14 meters. You can join this point, you get this graph. So this graph is indicated here. You can see the object positions, that is 14 meters. It is constant with respect to time. So we can conclude that the positions of the object can be not changed with respect to times. Okay, so this is the graph for object is the rest. Now second that is when it is moving with constant velocity in positive direction. So we take same examples. In y axis we take the position and x axis we take the time in second. This is in meter, this is second. Now we take same scale, that is 20, 40. Okay, this is the 5, 10 and 15. So in first 5 minutes our object cover the 20 meters. Then second 10 minutes cover the 14 meters. Then second 40, then 15 minutes cover the 16 meters. So you can say that in equal intervals of the times our object cover the 20 meters. In the 5 minutes interval of the times the distance covered by the object, that is 20 minutes. Also the velocity, this graph, when you draw this graph, this is straight lines and you find out the slope. This slope gives the velocity value. So this velocity value, that is positive. That means our velocity will be increasing with respect to times. So this is the motion, this is the graph for the uniform motion of the object or the constant velocity and in the positive direction. Okay, this graph is given here. So this is the graph for the object moving with constant velocity in positive direction. How we can conclude? The object is in positive direction, the velocity will be constant and increase with times. Okay, now similarly we can draw the graph positions versus time for same constant velocity but now in negative direction. So you can see this is the constant velocity will be not change with respect to times, but now your velocity of the object can be decreasing with respect to times. When times will be increasing, the velocity will be decreasing. Okay, so this is the graph for the object which is moving with constant velocity but in negative direction. Now last case, that is when our object is moved with the non-uniform motion. So for that we consider one tabular representation in which our object is moving with non-uniform motion. So we draw here graph, we can draw, this is our graph. On this y axis we take x meter, that means position, and this is the time. Now the x meter, that is our positions of the times, and time, that is in second. Positions of the object, that is x, and time taken by the object, that is t. Suppose the first 5 minutes the initial time, that is 0 second. At that time our object at 0 meters. Now after the 5 minutes our object cover the distance, that is 10. Then after the 10 meters our object cover the distance, that is suppose 15. Then after the 15 minutes our object distance cover, that is suppose 25. Okay, so you can see in first 5 minutes the distance covered by the object, that is 10 meters. Then second 5 minutes the object cover the distance, that is 10 to 15. That means this is 5 meters. In first case we have 10 meter distance in 5 minutes. Then in second position, that is 5 meter distance covered by the object, then 10 meters. So you can see that in equal intervals of the times the distance covered by the object, that is different. So this object is said to be in non-uniform motion. So now we can draw this graph here. For that we take, this is time scale, that is 0, 5, 10, 15. Okay, and in position, that is we take 10, 20 and 30. So at the initial position both have at the O, that is 0 second and 0 meters. Now after the 5 minutes our object is reached at point 10, this point. Then 10 minutes our object is at 15 meters, that means in between 10 and 20. Then after the 10 minutes, after the 15 minutes our object is at 25. So you can see this is our 15 minutes, this is our object is here. So this is not straight lines, your object will be moved like this. So whenever you take the more examples, more data of the positions and times, you get the graph that is like this. You will not get the straight line. So from this graph we conclude that this is the graph for the object which is moving with non-uniform velocity or non-uniform motion of the object. One more graph is given here. You can see this is the graph x versus t. So in this case you can see our object is at almost stationary up to 4 seconds. Then start their motion, increase their velocity, and at point from the 10 second to 20 second or 80 seconds our object is moved with nearly constant velocity. Okay, but after when it reach at the 20 seconds, suppose this is the motion for car, so here we apply the brake, so our car will be stopped and the velocity will be decreasing and it tends to 0. So this is the graph for non-uniform motion of the object. You can consider the case when you traveling, when you drive a car. So in traffic, you have traffic that at that time you must be apply the brakes. That means your velocity of the object can be decreasing. So that is the case of non-uniform motion of the object. Okay, so here we see how we can draw the positions versus time graph for different situations. Okay, so now we stop here. Thank you.